Hey everyone, Daniel here, and welcome to Chapter 6, The 7 Wonders of Integrity. If you're joining us for the first time, thank you for tuning in. Feel free to watch this entire chapter, but I do want to acknowledge that the 7 Wonders is actually a 12-week magical recovery course. Each chapter is designed to guide you through a weekly progression, so I would encourage you to circle back and begin at Chapter 1, where I introduce the course, the shadow work basic tools, and my personal background as it relates to my qualifications for instructing this program. In Chapter 5, The 7 Wonders of Territory, we took a survey of our personal environment and the various hazards that occupy our territory. One of the benefits of doing our daily shadow pages is that the vague gradually becomes vivid. The unspoken suddenly has a voice. As our beloved shadow begins leaking onto the page as black ink, it doesn't take long before our trouble spots are outed and filled in by our attention. Our shadow leads us to the outline of our true boundaries in black and white, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. Through the daily practice of morning writing, the heavy fog that encompasses our lives and territory begins to lift. And as we begin to see through the fog, we also begin to see through people and situations. And as someone who has sat through 22 years of AA meetings, I can tell you that many of us do not want to see the cold hard truth of our dangers. The very nature of our true boundaries separates us from others. This can and probably will appear to be destructive. It's not. At least not self-destructive. Strong, true boundaries will, however, destroy your illusions of yourself and of others. As your integrity begins to materialize or rematerialize, your former life begins to evaporate. This is a tipping point where many people will either surrender to or reject the recovery process altogether. In AA, we call this the moment of surrender. Just let go. The spiritual term is kriya, a Sanskrit word meaning spiritual emergency or surrender. All right, let's get to this week's lesson, which is shifting shadows. The longer we practice writing in our daily shadow pages, our shadowy feelings begin to shift and take a more solid form day by day. This can be particularly alarming, especially if those shadowy feelings involve your relationship, the weird energy at work, or the elephant in the family room. Our official feelings, those we issue publicly, usually take the form of, I feel okay about my lover's slipping interest, my business partner's rage issues, or the out-of-control sibling who consistently drops awkward and unnecessary behavior and/or drama at every family gathering. But do we really feel okay? What do we mean by okay? Okay is a cover word, and most of us use the word okay to diffuse and neutralize more complicated feelings, and it almost always signals pain and loss. At the core of our recovery process is the commitment to expose denial. We can no longer say it's okay when it's actually something else. Shadow pages will not allow our true feelings to linger in the shadows for long, and it is precisely this reason why many people tend to neglect or abandon writing in their shadow pages altogether. If we have a haunting feeling that our lover is not being honest with us, our shadow pages have a way of haunting us until we face our true feelings, and the reality of a hard conversation may follow. Rather than facing the hard conversation, we refuse to face our shadow pages. On the flip side, a too good to be true person arrives in our life and the shadow pages become a threat. We don't want to ruin the hope and happiness we are experiencing, so rather than checking in with our shadow pages, we immerse ourselves in the euphoric bliss of our new love interest and abandon our ability to monitor our own best interest. Basically, extreme emotions of any kind can trigger us to stop writing in our shadow pages, which is a paradox, because that is precisely what shadow pages are excellent at, processing those exact same emotions. Practice over time, shadow pages perform spiritual chiropractic because we decipher the intelligence of our emotions by allowing them to emerge at their own pace, in their own way, in a safe and steady environment. Our feelings are neither rushed, judged, or stifled. They are simply given the integrity to form. Things are no longer okay. They are defined in your own words. With our feelings clearly formed, we can then respond accordingly, and the response will bring change. Change brought about by our own hand, which can literally bring us to our knees and question if giving up all of our illusions is worth the pain. Hint, no pain, no gain. It's hard, honestly admitting which friends no longer work in our lives, which situations drain us, not to mention facing our subtle self-destructive behaviors. And it can lead us to give up altogether because we do not want to face the grieving process associated with the death of our previous life and our misconceptions. After all, although we were miserable, we were also very comfortable. As one of my mentors used to say, I know my shit stinks, but at least it's warm. I don't want to raise my consciousness. I want to. And thanks to Shadow Pages, we know exactly what we want and eventually become willing to take the steps necessary to bring about change. But it's going to suck, and you're probably going to pitch a big, huge fit, followed by a crya, a spiritual emergency and surrender that takes a specific form and carries a specific message. My friend finally exited a toxic work environment only to be struck with migraine days after. That is a crya. My friend's body literally broke down under the pressure of trying to do the impossible for an impossible boss for too long. Again, our bodies are our most perfect pendulums. The message here is very strong, and my friend surrendered to letting go and letting Goddess. To quote Julia Cameron from The Artist's Way, always significant, frequently psychosomatic, cryas are the final insult our psyche adds to our injuries. Get it? A crya asks you. Get it? You can't stay with an abusive lover. You can't work a job that demands 80 hours a week. You can't rescue a brother who needs to rescue himself. Cryas ask us to just let go. But we won't know what to let go of unless we engage with our shadow pages. With our shadow work in full practice, our morning writing, along with a weekly shadow dance and vision quest, we will be able to trust the integrity of our perceptions. And we will know it, as we always do, when we trust how it feels in our body. Remember this, the more you feel like a total stranger in your body, the more you can trust the recovery process is actually working. Taste and clothes may suddenly change. You may find your sleeping patterns altering to more suitable cycles. You may find yourself voicing what you like and what you don't like, things that you've never even said before. You may feel as if you're operating as self-will run riot. You're not. That's your integrity emerging. All right, let's get right to this week's task, assignment, and spell work. Shadowmates. All recovery programs center around fellowship support. In AA, we are advised to tag someone as a littermate, someone to call before and after a difficult step or task. Throughout the course so far, I have mentioned my shadowmates, fellow witches who are aware of the process I'm going through in developing the Seven Wonders. And both are going through their own magical Seven Wonders experiences, which require a faithful, trusted, and understanding sounding board. Jill has offered support by editing my weekly lesson plan and video script. As a professional published author, her generosity not only improves my work, but Jill also encourages and supports my vision. Ultimately, Jill knows that what I really need is someone to help me stay accountable to myself. Same with my friend Jen. We check in on each other 2 times per week or more when either of us have something particularly challenging to do or to celebrate private victories. Make a short list of 2 to 3 people who you can call for support and encouragement. These are your shadowmates. If you have a tough conversation coming up, ask a shadowmate to support you. Okay, I have to talk to Dave about the money mess. I'm going to do it Friday. Can I call you Saturday? A sandwich call will help you feel that you're not alone when faced with challenging tasks. More than that, it boosts motivation to accomplish difficult tasks that you would otherwise be tempted to avoid. Equally and especially true for the little mundane tasks that we have all fallen into neglecting due to quarantine fatigue and chaos. Social media deprivation. Yep, for a whole week. Stay completely off your social media accounts. The harder you resist this, the more likely you need it. See how your days go when you're not judging how you're doing based on the amount of likes your last post got or didn't get. Don't use the pandemic as an excuse. There are other ways to keep in touch and stay informed. Phone calls, or better yet, cards and letters are ideal. It's only a week. If you're worried you can't make it, now's the time to put your shadow mates list to use. If you break your deprivation, what caused you to do so? How did you feel before and after? Contemplate this in your shadow pages. Affirmative charms. Processing feelings and emotions in our shadow pages can be, well, emotional. And it shows in the structure of our handwriting. Good day entries will likely look like calm, consistent, even, orderly, homogeneous, unvarying, and even sometimes whimsical penmanship, while not so good days may look like jagged, harsh, frantic chicken scratch. Handwriting is a spiritual art and practice. We block the spiritual blood flow our shadow provides when we journal on keyboard, because there is a mysterious, subtle energy that flows from where your shadow meets the tip of your pen and transforms into ink onto paper. When we receive cards and letters, handwritten messages are warmer and connect to us more than a typed printout, as the neurological pathways are different for each. While reading printed affirmations is highly effective and encouraged, writing them for yourself yields amplified results. All things begin as thoughts. When we bring our thoughts to the page, we are in fact bringing thoughts into form and reality. We are manifesting. Shadow pages not only tell us how we're doing, they help us do things. They reveal options, alternatives, and resources. Pages and pages of them. Shadow, of course, lives between dark and light, the solid past, the specific present, and the possible future. It's that possible future you're forging with the forced, brave stroke of your pen. I just got off the phone with my shadow mate Jill. She reminded me of a seminar she attended where the instructor drew a stick person on a dry erase board with lines drawn to the left labeled past and lines drawn to the right labeled future. Where is our influence? When he suddenly erased the past, it hit her like a ton of bricks. She said that moment changed her life forever. The instructor was making a point of linking past thoughts and the power they can still hold over us today. Are you still holding on to a grudge about that bitter divorce and the job you got fired from a decade ago? How does that serve you today? To continue allowing it space in your life? It doesn't. Make your own diagram and release the past. It's that easy. Not that we should forget the past, far from it. What we can do is release the emotional connection to the past as the dictator of our future and the invader of our present. Devote part of your Shadow Pages session to writing affirmative charms for yourself. Craft a couple and write each one 7 times after your normal session. Here's a few good examples. Feel free to use one or all to help you get started. I trust my perceptions. I trust the rhythms of my day. My intuition is growing stronger and more accurate every day. My new abilities are emerging and developing naturally every day. My blocked abilities are unblocking in new creative ways every day. I'm guided clearly and protected fiercely by my angels and guides. I am perfect. I am healed. My power almighty. My power is real. 7 sins. Not that I have anything personal against a good day of sinning, but this is not a list of things to do for the weekend, although I'm sure it has been. This is a creative twist on a form of oracle divination. To begin with, take a piece of paper and cut it into 7 equal-sized strips. On each, write the following. Take a moment to breathe, clear and cleanse your energy field and your space. Cast a protective circle, either in your traditional method or with a simple protection prayer that is meaningful for you. Fold all 7 strips and put them in a small box or jar. This is your oracle box. Shake the oracle box. Now, draw one of your sins out of the oracle box and open it. In your Shadow Pages journal, list 5 ways this sin has a negative impact on your life. If the one you draw seems irrelevant or insignificant, consider this resistance. And scan your life to see if others are introducing the sin into your world. When you're done, Refold the sin and place it back into your oracle box, and continue this process until you've made 7 draws from all the same 7 sins. If you draw the same sin multiple times, that's significant. Be gentle, but be honest with your exploration. Our integrity depends on rigorous honesty. Once you've completed this difficult task, ask Great Spirit or one of your divine protectors to encompass and comfort you. I always appeal to Our Lady Guadalupe for sacred feminine healing and nurturing energy. Once you're done, thank your guides and release your circle. The cold hard truth. Answer the following questions in your Shadow Pages journal. Tell the truth. What habit do you have that gets in the way of your practice? Tell the truth. What do you think the problem really is? It is. What do you plan to do about the habit or problem? What is the payoff for holding on to this block? If you can't figure out the payoff, ask a trusted friend or a shadow mate. Tell the truth. Which friends or family members make you doubt yourself? The doubt is yours. They trigger it. Tell the truth. Which friends or family members believe in you and your gifts? Again, the gifts are yours. They make you feel it. What is the payoff for keeping destructive people in your life? If the answer is, I love them, then the next question is, why? Which destructive habits do your destructive friends share with your destructive self? Which constructive habits do your constructive friends share with your constructive self? Next, bottom line agreements, the integrity of your word. Working with the answers above, try setting a bottom line for yourself. Begin with 5 of your most painful behaviors. You can always add more later. Many of us who are working from home. This can easily bleed into late night hours and weekends. Set a bottom line. No work after 5, and I do not work on weekends. Write out your bottom lines in your Shadow Pages journal. This is the integrity of your word to yourself, from yourself. 7 acts of cherishing. 1. List 5 small victories. 2. List 3 small actions you have taken for your magic. 3. List 3 small actions you could take for your magic. 4. Make 4 small promises to yourself. Keep them. 5. Do 1 cool thing for yourself every day this week. 6. Eat 1 apple every day this week. 7. Take yourself on a 20-minute walk. Alright, that wraps Chapter 6, The 7 Wonders of Integrity. In addition to the task and spell work of this week, don't forget to continue with your shadow work, the basic tools, daily shadow pages, 1 shadow dance a week, and take yourself out on a vision quest. Except this week I want you to take an extended vision quest and make it almost like a weekend thing for yourself. All of this week's spells and assignments are available on the blog post for Chapter 6, The 7 Wonders of Integrity at daniellink.com. You can also find bonus material, additional video content, and vision quest ideas in the digital witch box. Join me next on Monday, December 21st for Chapter 7, The 7 Wonders of Compassion. The winter solstice plays host to the most significant astrological event to happen in ages, the Great Conjunction of 2020. This conjunction happens in Aquarius. Joining me to better help us understand the significance of this shift is one of my dearest shadow mates, Linda Burke. Linda is one of the most gifted and widely respected astrologers on the West Coast. So we will be broadcasting from Santa Fe, New Mexico and Sacramento, California for Chapter 7, The 7 Wonders of Compassion. Until then, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you at the rainbow's edge.